How do we become more wise? Well, we can start with being righteous. The Hebrew words for righteousness, for moral and immoral, in Proverbs actually have a very strong social context to them. See, a righteous person isn't just a moral person, and a wicked person isn't just immoral. A righteous person will do things at the expense of themselves for the benefit of their community, whereas a wicked person will do the opposite. They will do things at the expense of the community to benefit themselves. And we see this throughout Scripture, and especially in the Proverbs. A righteous person and a wicked person are true opposites. Righteousness can be a bit ethereal sometimes, but wickedness is pretty easy to define. And so whenever we look at wickedness as the opposite of righteousness, it makes righteousness easier to grasp. So we see that it's not just morality. It is truly a way of living. And what you do matters a lot to be righteous. Because you can be a moral person with good morals in your heart, but if you don't really live those things out in a meaningful way in your community, then to an extent, what's the point? When we want to live a life more centered around truth or more centered around Jesus, what that means is living more like that. It means living more like a life that is truthful, or a life like Jesus lived. And so, living a life that is truly righteous, not just moral, is a bit intimidating. That's a very high bar to meet. And part of me thinks that's the point. When we have this very high bar, we're going to push to achieve that bar. And especially when that bar is Jesus, it's a bar that we can't really ever truly hit. And so, in a sense, you can get hopeless about that. And that would be a foolish decision. Because whenever you're chasing after something perfect like that, and you know you can never obtain it, then you can push really, really hard and rest in the progress. Knowing you'll never achieve it truly does put the emphasis on progress. It puts the emphasis on the path that you're walking, and therefore the wisdom that you're gaining. It's not about the attaining of this magical goal where suddenly you are the most like Jesus as you could possibly be. It's that you're becoming more like that, and that's the goal. So the question here is, how are you living your life? Are you living a life that is full of righteousness and the actions are reflecting thereof? Or maybe a reframe for you, how specifically are you avoiding wickedness? When I think about these questions in my life, it kind of clarifies a few things in the way that I approach certain interactions at work and when I'm driving. It's easy to fall into these traps of wickedness where we do things specifically to hurt somebody else. And when we think about a way of living that exhibits truth and exhibits like complete moral good, living that way excludes doing things to purposely hurt somebody else. So, how do we grow in wisdom? A good way to start is by being righteous.